Some of the things I have things to say on. Again, none of them are past or during the 1st century. A lot of them are 2nd century. So again, none of these are very good sources. And plus, they're of course biased. Let me see. TheAtheistPaladin, I believe, doesn't directly write on the historicity of Christ, but just have some words. So again, a lot of these people are not even writing about the historicity, and so why are they even used as evidence? I don't get it. The Epistle of Diogenes, what else? Manuscripts. Yeah, that epistle is, let me see, some of the things it says, vanity of idols, the superstition of Jews, the observances of Jews, the manners of Christians, the relations of Christians to the world, the manifestation of Christ, the miserable state of men before the coming of the world. These are the subjects that it talks about. Why is it a reference for the historical of God? You're using, again, Scripture, just not non-canonized Scripture, to prove that Jesus exists. It's a little circular. Diache, again, various teachings on I don't know how Christians should handle one another, Christians' behaviors, dealing with false prophets, I believe, various things, but again, nothing about the historicity of Christ. Barnabas, well, we only know of him because of church history, and then we're going to turn around and then use him as evidence of Jesus. Again, that seems a little circular. The only way we know of him is of the church history, non-secular sources, and of him, I think, being quoted by others. But again, what do we have to believe in here that is a quality source? Really, we have nothing. The fragments of Papias, well, they're fragments. We don't have a full source, and what survives is due to Irenaeus and Eusebius, I believe. And was a companion of Polycarp, I think. But again, nothing was... What do we have here? Nothing. Polydiostartes, again, the same thing over and over. Anthragoras of Athens. He was a convert, a philosopher who converted for Christianity. He wrote Plea for Christians. That was to, I believe, Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius, to basically rant on persecuting Christians, and on the resurrection of dead. He wrote these two works. And on the resurrection of dead, it doesn't argue from a historical point, but rather that, well, resurrection is possible. Again, how does this make a converted philosopher during the 2nd century, how does this tie in for evidence of the existence of Jesus according to the Orthodox tellings? We have nothing. Oh, you know what? I forgot about something. The Shepherd of Hermas. The Shepherd of Hermas cannot be accounted for historical evidence on Christ because it is just stories of visions and parables. Yeah. So, and then they go, I think I can go on to the next one. And then they go and the heretical teachings, the Gospel of Thomas, the Gospel of Truth, the Apocryphon of John, and the Treatise of the Resurrection. These are all Gnostic sources, again, and these are, of course, very late sources. And why are you citing sources to which you don't agree with? Again, these are Gnostic. So, I believe in the Gospel of Thomas, or maybe I'm thinking the Gospel of Judas, that Christ is not a physical person, but a manifestation of God. But nonetheless, why are you citing these? Why are these necessary for the for proving the existence of Jesus? So we have over pretty much 90, or actually 79% of the sources come from biased sources, and they're double counting a lot of the times. This is really crappy work. Really is. And they don't have any explanations of why these count on as valid sources. What does it say? I can imagine all these being possible, all these manuscripts and documents of being possible, while at the same time Christ not existing. So what are we accounting for here? We're not accounting for anything, so let's continue. So this is their little argument. The historical evidence for Tiberius Caesar's existence. Tiberius Caesar, the Roman emperor who reigned during Jesus' ministry, has 10 authors who mention his existence with 150 years of his life. These include Josephus, Tacitus, Suetonius, Seca, Paterculus, Plutarch, Pliny the Elder, Strabo, Verus Maximus, and Luke. If one removes Luke, since he is a New Testament source, there are 9 secular non-Christian sources. This means there are just as many non-Christian sources for the existence of Jesus as there are for Tiberius Caesar. And to compare, the total number of sources between Jesus and Tiberius Caesar are 42 and 10. Therefore, there is over 4 times as many sources for the Jesus' life and deeds than for Tiberius Caesar. Again, I just threw into question all the sources that you provided. And some of them, using them as evidence as for the existence of Jesus, is quite circular. It's like, especially the Gospels, especially the what is accepted in the canon today as the New Testament. That's like me writing down the story of Bob and turning around, hey, here's the story of Bob. This is evidence of the life and works of the story of Bob. That's ridiculous. It's circular, okay? Pardon me. So it says, if there's anyone going to doubt the existence of Jesus, one must reject the existence of Tiberius Caesar. Stupid, it burns. Okay. If the Roman emperors did not exist, history would be completely shaken at its foundations. But if Jesus did not exist, it would be a minor footnote. Not only they're written by historians, I'm pretty sure that we have letters by senators of those eras. We have things that are commissioned by the Caesars. You know, they commissioned certain building of colosseums, aqueducts, stuff like that. They have coins printed after them. They had art done after them. They had busts and stuff like that. None of these things could ever be applied to Christ. None of these things. So, you'd have to explain all those pieces of archaeological evidence, in addition to not only the writings of these people. And I'm pretty sure there's lots of stuff that we can probably bring up that are independent of those historians. So we got archaeological evidence, not just textual evidence. Jesus, we just got textual evidence, and that's it. And the examinings of these texts are insufficient. So let's go on to their conclusion. In fact, the few records survived for thousands of years. There are a number of ancient writings that have been lost, including 50% of Roman historians of Tacitus' work, and all the writings of Thales and Asclepius of Medines. In fact, Herod the Great secretary named Nicholas of Damascus wrote a universal history of Roman history, but that's redundant, which comprises nearly 140 books, and none of which have survived. So there is no reason to doubt the existence of Jesus of Nazareth. God. Wow, that's one heck of a non sequitur. When it came to the Roman emperors, they claimed to be God, and many people probably did or probably did not take it seriously. But maybe there were a few that did. And this was a historical person. Are we then to conclude, and they claim godhood, are we then to conclude that they were gods? No, you'd actually doubt this. And yet, using even crappier sources and crappier pieces of evidence, you expect us to believe, oh no, yeah, not only Jesus claimed that, he was God. Does anyone smell the pile of hypocrisy? It kind of smells like bullshit. Alright, so okay, that's it. That's all I gotta say about this. And like I said, I just got warmed up and I went long over 18 minutes today, so remember people, rationality is the path to righteousness.